Heterophobia. Not a thing. A fabrication of victimhood created by homophobes who have never experienced discrimination against them in their lives. Heterophobia is not a thing. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. How's it going? Welcome back to another video, your first video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here. And today we are looking into heterophobia and cisphobia and memes around these things that do not exist in the same way that homophobia and transphobia and biphobia exist. They're not comparable because LGBT plus people actually face discrimination, and there are laws against elements of LGBT plus people's lives specifically because they're LGBT plus that are not faced by cisgender heterosexual people. So when people are like, oh, there's homophobia and transphobia and heterophobia and cisphobia, they're not comparable. But before we get fully into the heterophobia and cisphobia, I want to say a big thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. Maybe you're like me and you like to try out lots of different fragrances because you can't pick a favourite. Or maybe you keep getting new ones and ending up not liking them, and then you leave half full bottles of fragrances lonely and getting progressively dustier on your shelf. Does any of that sound familiar? Well, if it does, then Scentbird, a fragrance subscription service, is here to help. Think of it as the Netflix for fragrances, giving you the ability to receive fragrances from over 600 brands in an easy and flexible subscription service, where you can skip any month you want without penalties. You can choose a new fragrance to try every month for just $16, including choices from top brands such as Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, and Versace. And all of these fragrances offered on Scentbird are 100% authentic because they work directly with the brands. And with bottles of perfume potentially costing anywhere from $150 to $500, Scentbird is going to save you a lot of money getting you luxury perfumes from just $7 if you use my code. But with so much choice out there, over 600 brands, however will you choose which ones to try? Well, based on your preferences, previous purchases, and a simple quiz on the website, Scentbird will be your fragrance matchmaker. With each bottle you receive, you'll have a 30-day supply, saving you money and space as there's no need to commit to a full bottle of perfume. You can also upgrade your subscription to receive 2 or 3 products per month if you want just a little bit extra choice. Scentbird is available in the US and Canada, so if you fancy checking them out, don't forget to use my coupon code for 55% off, making your first month just $7. And now on with the video. Heterophobia isn't real. Shut up. No one has been killed because they're straight. No one lives in society that doesn't allow heterosexuality. No one has to hide that they're het. If you think heterophobia is real, log off Twitter and go cry about it. And that's the point. When people are saying heterophobia, cisphobia isn't real, that's why it isn't real. No one tells you you're wrong for being cis and straight, and nobody tells you you can't get married because you're cis and straight. Heterophobia, noun. Dislike of or prejudice against heterosexual people, typically displayed by feminists and people of the SJW community. Oh, oh dear. I like how they've also put it on a rainbowy type background. Or, you know those big like parachute tent things? Did you ever have them in school where you like lift the tent up with everybody else and they were colourful? That's what that looks like. Very interesting choice to put a meme about heterophobia on something rainbowy. Heterophobia, no fear of different. We are all equal. Making this is so strange. And I'm assuming that the O's are meant to be like the little sex symbols. It just has very like straight pride vibes. It's like, oh, we're seeing the LGBT plus community get what we deem to be like special attention and special treatment. Why as straight cis people are we not getting that too? Let's have some of that. And it's like, you're not getting it because you have your rights. The point is that LGBT plus people have things like pride parades and pushes for rights because we do not have equal rights to cisgender straight people. If as a cis straight person who thinks that you need a straight pride parade and heterophobia exists in the same way homophobia does, then okay, fine, but like let's take away some of those rights. Stop the hate. Say no to heterophobia. Say no to heterophobia with a cross through it, so heterophobia is not real. We're saying no to it because it doesn't exist. Lots of heterophobia on Twitter today, from hashtag heterosexual pride day being the top trend. Liberals hate everything that's normal. This is what I mean by the whole straight pride. It's not necessary, and honestly 90% of the people that support straight prides are homophobic and have displayed homophobic behaviours, or their call for straight pride has like a massive amount of homophobia behind it, or at least like just a buttload of ignorance coming from a place of not understanding why we have LGBT plus prides. Transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, biphobia, Sorry. Heterophobia, cisphobia, lesbophobia. Now, why is the hetero and the cis phobias sandwiched between bi and lesbophobia? Why? And why are they progressively getting fainter? I don't know what kind of order this is in. And it's in the colour of the rainbow flag. Stop being straight-phobic. You never hear someone say gay-phobic. Again, using pride imagery in colour. Why? Heterophobia is a problem. Can't be a problem if it doesn't exist. Someone give me an example of this heterophobia, because I have nothing. I have nothing. The only thing I can think of is literally there might be some LGBT plus people out there who actually have a fear of being around straight cis people based on past negative experiences of being discriminated against by straight cis people. That's the only form of heterophobia I can think of. If you are against the hashtag straight pride parade, you are just as bad as any homophobic person. No, because what is a straight pride parade out there trying to achieve? I'm sorry. Barbara and Ted, were you told that you couldn't get married because you're a straight cis couple? I'm sorry to all the Barbaras and Teds out there, they were just the first two names that came in my head. I really wish some people would understand that pride is not about being special or getting more. It's about equality, which we still have not achieved, hence why we still have pride for LGBT plus people. Heterophobia isn't real, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Pride Month is not a time for heterophobia. But straight cis people are not part of who Pride Month is for. The LGBTQ plus community is a community that accepts people of all sexualities, and it is heterophobic to say that straight people cannot be a part of it just because they are straight. Woof, that was a sentence and it's all capitals, and let me just break that down. So it's heterophobic if you say that straight people can't be part of the LGBT plus community because they're straight. In LGBTQ plus, the plus does not include straight. You can be straight and part of the LGBTQ plus community, but like if you're trans, you know? And it's about sexuality and gender identity minorities, not about all sexual orientations and identities. It's about the ones that are oppressed and discriminated against for their identities, which straight cis people are not. I find cis insulting because it's normally used in negative straight phobic language, like this very tweet that's full of fear. Oh, I don't know what tweet they're replying to. Cis is a prefix, it's not insulting. Normally used in negative straight phobic language. I don't know what this is, I want examples, because I've seen people try and call out examples of like straight phobia, cis phobia, and it's literally just calling out transphobia and homophobia. Person A says something homophobic, person B calls it out, person A calls person B heterophobic for calling out the homophobia, if that makes sense. That's like a vast majority of the instances I've seen where people have gone, that's heterophobic. It's just because they were being homophobic in the first place and they got called out for it. What is straight TikTok? Oh dear. And why does everyone hate it? Ha 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 ha. I'm confused. We are on the cusp of ending homophobia and now we're introducing heterophobia. What the F is 2020? I would not say we're on the cusp of ending homophobia, and laughing at something labelled straight TikTok, which is basically like the straights not being okay of Reddit, but TikTok versions and straight guys dancing shirtless, that kind of thing. It's a gentle joke, but also calling out some toxic behaviour that can happen as well. It's not comparable in any way to homophobia, and at the cusp of ending homophobia, we're not. There is a very long way to go still. I'm a bisexual man and I'm glad there is a straight pride parade. They deserve it because straight people are discriminated by the LGBT community. I'm not saying everyone is heterophobic, I'm just saying there are a lot of bad apples in the community. Hashtag straight pride parade. Oh, I just don't think people understand the difference. It feels so good, man. Finally, I found the one. Lucky you. Waze, who's the guy? Dude, it's a girl. Ew. Rahul always wonders why no one ever takes his heterophobia seriously. This is a very made up situation. Has this ever happened? No. Cisphobia. Cisphobia is an irrational fear or hatred of straight people. Trans people can be straight. Often people from the LGBTQ community will call people who disagree with them homophobic, not understanding what the word phobic means, and in turn shedding light on their own phobia, the phobia of straight people. But if you disagree with somebody who's LGBT+ on their identity, then you are being homophobic. Calling out that behaviour is no kind of phobia. Just because I'm saying, hey, your disagreement with me is actually rude, and discrimination doesn't then mean that I am being cisphobic or heterophobic towards you for calling that out, because that is literally what is said here. Cisphobia, the irrational fear of normal people. Whilst trying to pretend that it exists and that transphobia and homophobia don't. Cisphobia, something that doesn't exist but transphobes use it as an excuse to be transphobic. Yeah, that's a bit more accurate. And finally, a photo of what I'm assuming is a straight couple kissing, just wrong. And we have another flag. That's not the pride flag, that's just a rainbow. Heterophobia doesn't seem right, does it? Don't hate or discriminate. Love, enough, said. Love, sentence. Enough, sentence. Said. Sentence. Oh, this is so weird. Well, that's been a fun little dip into the world of heterophobia, cisphobia, and what people think about it and why people think it's real. In conclusion, calling out transphobia and homophobia cannot then be turned around and labelled as cisphobic or heterophobic itself. That's not how the world works. Cis straight people are not discriminated against and do not have less rights based on their sexual orientation and gender identity, unlike LGBTQ+ people who are discriminated against and do have less rights based on their sexual orientation and or gender identity. Ta-da! That's all you need to know why we don't need a straight pride and to understand how heterophobia and cisphobia do not exist in the same way that homophobia and transphobia exist. Before we wrap up today's video, don't forget to go check out Scentbird if you want to. You can click the link in my description box and don't forget to use my code for 55% off. And that's everything for today. If you liked the video, think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. You can also go click that little join button that is somewhere down here next to the subscribe button, wherever that might be. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.